Hello everyone, you're watching the channel Military TV. The vulnerable Humvee was first fielded to combat units in the mid-1980s. It had impressive mobility. It was fast and extremely reliable. But beginning in 2004, the vehicle that was designed for the European battlefield began to struggle when it faced determined Iraqi insurgency that fought with improvised explosive devices, or IEDs. Soon, images of burnt-out, twisted Humvees became a symbol of America's struggle to cope with a new, horrific type of warfare. While many short-term efforts to protect troops were launched, the Pentagon was determined to develop a lasting solution. It first approved the JLTV as a program of record in 2006. After over 3 decades of faithful service, the United States Army and Marine Corps are replacing the AM General Humvee in frontline service with the Oshkosh JLTV. Although Humvees will continue to serve behind the scenes with the Army and Marines until 2050, the new JLTV, short for Joint Light Tactical Vehicle, is as much as a technology leap over the Humvee as the Humvee was to the Jeep-like Ford M151 MUTT before it. With that in mind, here's how the Humvee and the JLTV stack up on paper. It's not just the JLTV that can easily negotiate any type of terrain, and it's many times more reliable than any comparable vehicle. But it can take a hit from enemy small arms, machine guns, or rockets and keep fighting. That core requirement of its design emerged from a decade of fighting insurgents in Southwest Asia, where the Army constantly encountered threats that nobody had expected, like improvised explosive devices under the vehicle or shaped charges striking from above. When AM General developed the Humvee back in the late 70s and early 80s, its naturally aspirated 150 horsepower 6.2-liter diesel V8 paired with a 3-speed automatic was a game-changer compared to the M151 Mutt's gas-swelling 71 horsepower 2.3-liter i4 and 4-speed manual. Since the Humvee first went into service, its engines has been upgraded to a 6.5-liter turbo diesel V8 that produces a scant 190 horsepower, paired with a 4-speed automatic. That's hardly enough power to motivate the base Humvee's roughly 6,000-pound curb weight, let alone the 13,000-plus pound curb weight of an armored Humvee. The Oshkosh JLTV's powertrain represents decades of automotive advancement. In an effort to keep costs in check and hit performance targets, Oshkosh chose GM's new L5P Duramax 6.6-liter turbo diesel V8 engine to power the new JLTV. A familiar sights under the hoods of 2017 Chevrolet Silverado HD and 2017 GMC Sierra HD models, the JTLV's Duramax engine is modified for severe duty and actually detuned to around 400 horsepower by Gale Banks Engineering for the JLTV. The JLTV's transmission is also a durable, commercially available component. It's the Allison 6-speed automatic transmission, also used by GM heavy-duty pickups. More than anything, both the Humvee and JLTV are designed around their 4-wheel drive systems. Some of the military's requirement for what would become the Humvee included the ability to climb a 60% incline, traverse a 40% slope, and ford 2.5 feet of water without a snorkel, or 5 feet with a snorkel. Those requirements dictated a lot of the engineering and design choices for AM General made in the Humvee. It was fitted with an independent suspension. Its wheels were mounted on portal axles, providing gear reduction and boosting ground clearance to 16 inches. The Humvee's entire drivetrain and even its brakes were sucked up into the body of the vehicle, making the cabin a tight squeeze, but ensuring that the Humvee's off-road ability would meet military requirements. The whole package was rounded off with a full-time 4-wheel drive system, with a 2-speed transfer case, locking differentials, and a central tire inflation system, CTIS. Although much of the military's requirement for the JLTV are still classified, it did want the 14,000-pound JLTV to go everywhere the Humvee could go, but be faster and with more capability. To that end, Oshkosh fits each JLTV with its TAK4i suspension system, a fully independent double wishbone design with electronically adjustable high-pressure gas shocks. Oshkosh turned the JLTV's TAK4i suspension in the Baja 1000 giving this military off-roader some serious Ford F-150 Raptor rivaling chops. The JLTV suspension has 20 inches of wheel travel and the ability to raise and lower the suspension as needed, negating the need for portal axles. Without optional snorkel kit, and with its suspension in its highest setting, the JLTV can ford 5 feet of water without breaking a sweat. Like the Humvee, the JLTV also has a full-time 4-wheel drive system with low-range locking differentials and a CTIS. Although Humvees were initially pretty reliable in the field, as they aged and the military upgraded them with heavy armor that increased wear and tear, they became garage queens to many servicemen and women. During the testing phase of the JLTV program, the U.S. Army and Marine Corps brought along 22 up-armored Humvees to test alongside Oshkosh, Lockheed Martin, and AM General's JLTV NTRANS, with each manufacturer providing 22 test vehicles. During nearly 3 years of testing, platoons equipped with Oshkosh JLTVs had the highest levels of mission success. Oshkosh's JLTVs were also far and away the most reliable of the bunch, averaging 7,051 miles between operational mission failure, defined as a system failure that prevents the vehicle from accomplishing its mission. Up-armored Humvees were surprisingly the second most reliable of the group, averaging 2,968 miles between failures, followed by Lockheed Martin JLTV at 1,271 miles between failures, and the AM General BRVO JLTV, which averaged 526 miles between failures. Humvees offered up far better protection to its occupants compared to the open-air Jeeps they replaced. In the same way that AM General improved the light tactical vehicle by adding a roof and doors, Oshkosh does the same by baking a base level of armor into each JLTV. Utilizing lessons learned on its MATV MRAP Mine-Resistant Ambush-Protected Vehicle program, the JLTV features a V-shaped hull to deflect blasts from below, bulletproof windows, and an armored crew capsule. Compared to an up-armored Humvee, a basic JLTV offers multiple orders of magnitude more protection from bullets and bombs to its occupants. Each JLTV is also capable of being fitted with a B-kit of armor, boosting it to MRAP levels of protection.
This is in transport height, very important to the Marine Corps as we get into our amphibious shipping, to be able to get on well decks. Very important to the Army as well, to be able to get on a C-130s and do low velocity airdrop, etc. It's normally in operational mode, which is shown here, and that's how on a day-to-day basis soldiers and Marines will operate the vehicle. Now it does have a capability where we can go to fording height, which is essentially 60 inches, the vehicle can raise, and that's very important for the Marine Corps. That's a Marine Corps-centric or specific requirement so that we could clear water obstacles, part of our amphibious nature. Okay, so getting to some of the technical capabilities of the vehicle. The suspension has 20 inches of travel, and that was actually used in a Baja 1000 race. It uses a Duramax V8 engine, much like you would find in a Silverado or a Sierra pickup truck that's actually been modified by Gale Banks for any of you NASCAR fans. And then we use an Allison modified transmission as well. So to the max extent possible, we used a lot of commercial technologies with the powertrain, etc. The JLTV is designed for survivability to meet a number of threats, and it met all of both the Army and the Marine Corps' requirements as far as that's concerned. Getting back to some of the technical, aspects of the vehicle, it does have a range of 300 miles, has a top speed of 75 miles per hour. So we talked about the capability, the payload of the vehicle. It has a payload of 5,100 pounds, and that's the utility vehicle. So think about your high-back Humvee. This would be kind of the JLT variant of that. The general purpose vehicle, it has a payload of 3,500 pounds.